Adventure Time has a long way to go, but in many ways, it already ended. In early February 2017, just a few months after Cartoon Network notified the team behind its most surprising breakout hit that the show was cancelled, the cast finished their last round of voice work. The final episodes were written, and the saga of Finn and Jake in a magical post-apocalyptic land of Oo came to a close as the cast and crew scattered to new projects. The fruits of their labor will gradually unfurl on Cartoon Network until 2018. Although the timing remains uncertain, fans must wait for the slow march to the finale, but the creative team is moving on. "It was bittersweet," said head writer Ken Osborne, recalling the last day of recording. "A lot of shows don't last this long, but this felt different because it was so popular." Adventure Time was a trailblazer that nobody saw coming. Not its reclusive creator Pendleton Ward, who left his top job on the show 2 years ago, and certainly not Cartoon Network, which never knew quite how to handle its success. "It was a creative and unique show," said one former Cartoon Network staffer. "It was a risk. People at the network were scratching their heads." Yet from its early days, Adventure Time not only enthralled younger viewers, but managed to win over countless older ones initially skeptical to its appeal. Since Ward first launched the saga as a surreal short film in 2008, its episodes have oscillated between the deep, existential yearnings of characters waking up to the world and sophomoric gags, sometimes within the span of a few minutes. Not since The Simpsons has a major network supported such a peculiar combination and gotten away with it for so long. However, according to multiple sources who worked on the show over the years, Cartoon Network never knew quite how to handle the way Adventure Time took off. It was a gradual burn, and it grew into a realization that it was indeed a massive epic that could be made into a pop culture powerhouse, the former staffer added. It never really fit into a category, so Cartoon Network didn't really have a model in which to manage its ever-growing popularity, and arcane corporate rules prohibited the company from shifting it into the more sophisticated arena of its Adult Swim programming. Even as the ancillary potential of the show grew, with toys and costumes, comic books, and video games, it expanded beyond the narrow parameters of the Cartoon Network viewership. Cartoon Network aims for kids ages 2 to 14, said veteran animation producer Fred Siebert, whose channel Frederator picked up Ward's original short and has remained involved in the series over the course of its 7-season run. The fact that Adventure Time has a significantly larger audience for that, a more expansive one, is great gravy, but they can't benefit from it directly. Now with the show finished, Cartoon Network has yet to announce a timeline for the rest of the show, aside from plans to air episodes through early 2018. In the meantime, a new season has started in fine form. Islands, an 8-episode arc that the network released as a miniseries on DVD and iTunes last month, marks some of the most exciting storytelling attempted by the show in years. Viewed in one sitting, it amounts to a feature-length journey in which Finn and Jake join forces with the monosyllabic underground dweller Susan on a revelatory journey to find Finn's mother, not to mention all the other humans mysteriously absent from the land of Oo, where Finn spends most of his time with various fantastical creatures. Over the course of Islands, the group careens across the ocean in an Odyssey-like trip, face down with a moody sea monster, and eventually find themselves in an isolated island. At last, they come across the last human civilization, and it's not a pretty sight. They're trapped in an idyllic, virtual reality that keeps them safely removed from the dangerous world around them, at the behest of a kindly doctor who may or may not be Finn's missing mom. The explanation for her disappearance also invokes the backstory of Finn's deadbeat dad, and it brings the story a degree of emotional closure that will astonish anyone whose main relationship to the show is Jake, singing the Bacon Pancakes song. The final shot, in which the boy, who has slowly become a man, rides off into the sunset, plays like a series finale, and as far as Finn's arc goes, it may just be that. When the writers found out that Cartoon Network had cancelled Adventure Time last fall, they rejiggled the 8-part installment, pushing it out to a later date so they had more time to think it through. As we got farther along and Finn got older, it felt inevitable that he would be thinking about the question of his origin and pursue answers if he had the chance, showrunner Adam Muto said via email. There are some loose threads that definitely need to be resolved before the show ends. For a long time, Finn's origin story didn't seem like one of those threads. Then, the show took off. The more seasons we got, the more glaring the mysteries became, Mito explained. So I'm glad we were able to tell this story. I don't think it's the end of Finn's story. In a way, it sort of frees him to have a completely unexpected ending. He's not a chosen one with a grand destiny, or the last anything. He's the son of a doctor and a con man, trying to figure stuff out in a colorful, magical land. For much of its run, Adventure Time has dedicated a handful of episodes to this type of world building. In between bottle episodes showcasing its unique storybook quality, last fall, the Stakes story arc gave one of the show's most popular female characters, Marceline the Vampire Queen, an opportunity to make peace with her undead status. Mito hinted at another loose end the show may address in future episodes: the Ice King. At first, a goofy villain known for constantly peppering Finn and Jake turned out to be a scientist who lost his mind after wearing a cursed crown. He also raised Marceline in the days before he went completely bonkers, and the early episode that reveals their tragic history was one of the most groundbreaking in the history of broadcast animation. Later seasons revealed that the Ice King had a girlfriend named Betty, memorably voiced by Lena Dunham, whose affection for the senile man stretches across boundaries of space and time. It's one of the many powerful relationships that have become the cornerstone of a show that keeps inventing new ways to surprise its audience. Making so many episodes has given us the platform to tell varied and ongoing stories we wouldn't have had the chance to do otherwise, Mito said. Ward never planned Adventure Time with a mythology in place. In its early days, he compared the writing process to playing Dungeons & Dragons, with writers incorporating new ingredients into the Land of Oo canon as they moved along. The world of the show, destroyed by an earth-shattering nuclear catastrophe, wasn't even part of his original pitch, but it has since become an essential part of the way longtime viewers appreciate its bittersweet edge. No matter the colorful and giddy antics that define Finn and Jake's everyday lives, they're never too far removed from reality of an Earth obliterated by war and desolation. The open playing field was something of a boon to the creative process, and Adventure Time became a natural fit for storytelling in the age of Reddit conspiracy theories, littered with clues but open to endless interpretation. Ward did what great jazz composers do, Siebert said, bringing in all sorts of people, giving them building blocks, and then letting them bring their own ideas to the table. At times, the rules governing the character's existence have posed a series of challenges for the team, since each 11-minute episode can only cover so much ground. We try to remain consistent with what's been established on the show when we can, Mito said. There's a risk of getting unwieldy over explanation and recapping, so we do leave some spaces to the imagination. Of course, imagination drives the narrative of Adventure Time more than anything else. It's not hard to imagine a reading of this show in which every episode exists within the confines of Finn's mind. Early on, Ward decided that Finn's voice actor Jeremy Shada would continue to play the character, which meant that Finn had to age as Shada's voice deepened, and the themes followed suit. From its wackier early bits, Adventure Time careened into weirder conundrums rooted in the metaphorical possibilities. There's the one where Finn and Jake find themselves battling through the Infinity Train, caught in endless loops, or the one where Finn must learn to trust his senses by escaping a cave with his eyes closed. When the funny stepped aside, Siebert said, you started to see that emotional content come to the forefront. The show even incorporated some audacious gender swapping, hinted at a romance between two of its female leads, and killed off some supporting characters. All the while, it remained cute, funny, and random, juggling the kind of free-willing style that more familiar to readers of alternative comics. Fans of all ages and sensibilities swarmed in. The popularity came out of nowhere, Osborne said, recalling the jolt of seeing someone dressed up in a Finn costume at Comic-Con after the first season. We were just trying to make something we liked. Ward, a portly, bearded introvert better positioned for the drawing board than the microphone, started to get weary. Pinn's such a creative guy, and at a certain point, running a show isn't super creative. Siebert had warned the creator that the television production flow involved in juggling multiple episodes at once would get to him. That weight and that beard are there for a certain kind of protection, Siebert said. He'll never quite say what's on his mind to anyone. As you can tell from the show, Pinn is a sensitive guy. He needed to step back from his own sanity. As Princess Bubblegum says at one point in the show, all of my jokes are cries for help. Ward did not respond to requests for comment. He's expressing thoughts about modern feelings that people have, longtime writer Rebecca Sugar told me in 2016, shortly before she launched her show, Steven Universe. These feelings are frivolous, and that's confusing. Good poetry is like that. Pinn is letting that happen, and that's why he's such an enigma. He's an amazing artist. That also made him retreat from the pressures of fame. He wasn't up to the monumental task of running a franchise, said an ex-staffer from the network. Toys, events, corporate meetings, all the trappings that come with a series' success. He was a young, quiet, shy artist who just wanted to draw and tell stories. In his free time, Ward had been focused on video games and virtual reality projects, but he remained in the writer's room through the production of Stakes and continued to voice the memorable diva Lumpy Space Princess. In the meantime, Adventure Time has maintained much of its appeal to the capable hands of Muto, Ward's old college pal from CalArts. It might sound glib, but almost everything is possible in animation, Muto said. I think most people who work in animation would tell you that. The challenge for our specific US extended cable cartoon niche is finding the support to go down strange, underutilized avenues that doesn't usually seem like a push for the new and different in children's animation. But they won't stop pushing for it. While Sugar continues to ride the success of Steven Universe, other alumni have plans of their own. Storyboard writer Julia Potts' short film Summer Camp Island, a hit at the 2017 Sundance Film Festival, was recently picked up as a series, and several Adventure Time alumni, including Osborne, have joined its staff. Osborne also has a web series called Cat Agent entering its second season. He spoke wistfully of his time on Adventure Time, and suggested it still had a future. I think they can reboot it any time, Osborne said. He recalled a conversation with Tom Kenny, who voiced the Ice King. Kenny said, "Just this week, I'm doing voice work on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Powerpuff Girls, and Samurai Jack, shows that have concluded now more than once. This isn't the end of anything." Osborne also mused the possibility of a prequel spin-off featuring Joshua and Margaret investigations. The husband and wife dog team revealed as Jake's parents in early flashbacks. Osborne does the voice for Joshua, but he also acknowledged that the show's popularity would be tough to replicate. My first job was on SpongeBob SquarePants, but then I went to a show that wasn't as good and people were like, "You were really lucky that first time." You never really know when something's going to be a phenomenon. Nor do you ever really know what to expect from Adventure Time, which never hesitates to slip complex musings into its otherworldly tapestry. Not every episode digs deep, but the possibility has always lingered on the edge of the frame and led to some of the most exciting and unpredictable television viewing experiences in the modern age. And often a handy guide to the world outside its parameters. We're on, like, the bleeding edge of history, says the character Jake Jr. to his dad in one revealing moment. Everything ahead of us is totally unknown, and there's no guarantee that everything's going to be alright. It's exciting, but it's also pretty scary, you know. We do, but if Adventure Time legacy stands for anything, it's the value of confronting the fear, wide-eyed and ready for something different. Alright guys, so this is just me speaking now. Basically, Adventure Time is done. They're not going to be making more of it, other than what's already coming out, but that's already been created. The whole team is not working on Adventure Time anymore. They're all on other projects. And it kind of played it off like Season 8 was the natural end of the show, but they actually were canceled. They were actually canceled. And Cartoon Network was, on purpose, not promoting Adventure Time so it would do worse on the network, which in my opinion seems like a way to explain why they got rid of the show, but it was their own fault. They stopped promoting their own show. So basically, they said in this interview that Finn's arc is done with the islands. With him meeting his mom, nothing new is going to be learned. Finn is not a god. He's not a deity like I once theorized. He's not based off Lou. He's not anything that I thought he was. And I honestly don't think we're going to be getting any more of the Lich now either. It seems as though we're just going to have another season and a half of randomness like we are used to getting. Because the main story arc is over. I think we'll see the end of Grassfin soon, and then it will go on and do something for Jake, maybe something for Princess Bubblegum, but it might not do any of that. We really don't know. And thank you for sitting through this really long video, and I'm glad that you're still here because I have an announcement to make. I'm not going to do the explanation videos any longer. YouTube has made it harder and harder to get attention making them. And the amount of hours that I put into making them isn't worth what I get out of it. Not only is it not worth the monetary gains that I would get from making the episodes, but making these videos and not getting anything for it has actually made me kind of dislike Adventure Time, which is terrible. So I'm gonna go back to my roots. I'm not gonna be doing the explanation videos probably for any show. I'm just gonna be doing video games and commentary, and I'm probably going to be doing more so the commentary, talking about, like hot topics, current events, or my own personal life, like a vlog, but it will all be over gaming. I understand the vast majority of my viewers do not watch my gaming videos, and that's alright. For a while I thought my YouTube was going to take off. It looked like it was. But I'm used to YouTube not giving me much. I'm used to not really having a lot of comments. I'm used to not having much of an audience. So I can go back to that just fine. It's going to take a lot of pressure off me. I won't feel so inclined to have to come and work 8 hours on a video, and I can spend more time with my family and more time on my fitness, because I have gained a lot of weight over the course of this Adventure Time series, and I'm not blaming anybody on that. It's obviously my own fault. I've chosen to spend more time doing this, sitting in my chair working on this stuff, than I was spending at the gym exercising. And my diet got kind of lazy because I didn't feel like taking the time to cook stuff, so I was eating out a lot or eating, frozen foods. So I've really let myself go. I'm down about 12 pounds overall right now, but I still have about 30 more to go to get where I was before all of this. So that's kind of where I'm at right now, guys. Once again, thank you so much for supporting me and my family for as long as you did. And if this is the last video of mine that you will watch because I'm no longer doing Adventure Time, thank you so much for watching me for as long as you did. I appreciate the short amount of time that I did get your attention. I hope that Uncivilized Elk and other channels can continue to bring you entertainment in this style. And good luck in the future with everything that you want to do. And if you are one of the small handful of people who actually watch my gaming videos, there is a lot more to come. So thanks for sticking around. Thanks for joining my Facebook group, Happily Ever After Gaming. That's where I get to talk to a lot of my members and I get to do my giveaways and whatnot. I'm going to be doing a lot more live streaming on the weekends now. So look forward to that. Well, I feel like I'm kind of starting to ramble, so I will let you guys go. But once again, I just want to say thank you all for everything. I'm sorry that this has come to an end. I think we had a good run at it, and I'll catch you guys in the next episode.